Yes, it's the day indeed to glorify the unsung heroes of our nation. Thousands laid down their lives so that our country can celebrate this day. Yes, it is our motherland India's 74th Independence Day. So I, N. Ovia, from the core of my heart, welcome you all to the day's celebration on the behalf of the entire DAV BHL school family. We all know what's happening in the world. We have been left marooned by the insurmountable pandemic which has put us in doldrums. It has made us to put a lull in our daily normal chores. This does not know one thing, that it's difficult to defeat the idea of India and Indians. We always find the smorgasbord of solution to any problem. So, to your surprise, we present you the very first in the history of India, the virtual Independence Day celebration. But before that, let me do the honors by greeting our honorable beings without whom this idea would not have been surfaced. Let me welcome our Reverend Principal Mr. Karupaya sir, without whom a program like this would just have been a fantasy. I also welcome our headmistress Mrs. Chitra K. Nadarajan Madam, who has just stepped into her stance for a cause. Now I cordially invite loving parents, my fellow teachers, my dearest students and our other guests to this virtual celebration of the 74th Independence Day at DAV BHL School, Ranipet. At this moment, we will unwind our national flag as a traditional tribute to our motherland. May all human beings live in harmony with nature and other forms of life. May the truth prevail. May the darkness of ignorance be swept away by the dawn of self-realization. That by, I call upon our esteemed principal, Mr. Karupaya, for unfurling the flag. Sir, please. Thank you, sir.
Flag salute. Order.
Salute, flight, salute.
தாய் மணி கொடி பாரே அதை தாழ்ந்து பணிந்து புகழ்ந்திட வாரே தாய் மணி கொடி பாரே அவர் சிந்தையின் வீரம் நிரந்தரம் வாழ்க சேர்ந்ததை காப்பது காணே அவர் சிந்தையின் வீரம் நிரந்தரம் வாழ்க தேர்ந்தவர் போற்றும் பரத நிலதேவி துவஜம் சிலபுர வாழ்க தேர்ந்தவர் போற்றும் பரத நிலதேவி துவஜம் சிலபுர வாழ்க தாய் மணிக்கொடி பாரே அதை தாழ்ந்து பணிந்து புகழ்ந்திடவாரே தாயின் மணிக்கொடி பாரே அதை தாழ்ந்து பணிந்து புகழ்ந்திடவாரே தாயின் மணிக்கொடி பாரே.
Let us bring the environment to the numinous state by a prayer song, and I would like to call Harshita of class 11 and Roshni of class 9 to sing the invocation song. Thank you, girls.
त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धोश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय हे परमपिता ऐसा वर दो जग जीवन को सुंदर कर दो हे परमपिता ऐसा वर दो जग जीवन को सुंदर कर दो हे परमपिता स्वस्थ के पद पर सदा चले जैसे सूरज और चंद्र चले अज्ञान अंधेरा दूर करे हम मृत्यु पर भी विजय करें हे परमपिता ऐसा वर दो जग जीवन को सुंदर कर दो हे परमपिता मात पिता का मान करे और गुरुजन का सम्मान करे देश धर्म की वेदी पर अपना जीवन बलिदान करे हे परमपिता ऐसा वर दो जग जीवन को सुंदर कर दो हे परमपिता ऐसा वर दो जग जीवन को सुंदर कर दो हे परमपिता.
Now, I would love to call upon our beloved principal to address the August gathering. Thank you, sir, for your priceless words, which is disseminating the positive vibes into the gathering.
Namaste, members of the management, DAV and BHL, parents, teachers, my dear students and well-wishers. Namaste once again. I wish you all very happy 74th Independence Day. Are we really independent? No. We are politically independent but not economically. How? India was the wealthiest country in the world with 27% of the share of world economy till the arrival of the British in the 18th century. Then Indian economy was so powerful that it could be compared with the present day US economy. USA has retained its position of being the largest economy since 19th century. In 1871, its share in the world was just 15.2%, but ours 27%. But after British exploitation, when the Britishers left the country, we were left with only 3% share of world economy. What ruined our economy? After slowly the Britishers settled here under the banner of the East India Company, they started expanding their industrial base in their country. They took away all the raw materials like cotton, iron, etc. from our country. All at the same time, They impact our desi products like other silk clothes, handicrafts, etc. Our farmers were forced to produce to meet the demands of the British but not for the needs of the native people. The exploitation of and transport of Indian wealth became easier after the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869. It paved way for the easier transport and faster communication. They built here in India roads, railways, waterways and telegraph. Due to this, they were able to export our raw material and import their finished products easily. They brought back the finished products to India and we were indirectly or directly forced to buy theirs. Later, slowly, we are addicted to global products like Colgate, Lifebuoy, etc. As children, we had seen an advertisement, a Baiwan who used ash powder to brush his teeth won't be able to chew sugarcane. At the same time, a small boy who used a branded tooth powder would be able to buy and chew sugarcane. The irony is now the same brand asks us whether our paste has ash blend. My mother, who used turmeric powder produced in our land field, looked fair and lovely, but my daughter, who is in city, who uses an internationally acclaimed fairness drink, does not look so. This is how we are made addicted to the brands by advertisements. So, dear all, could each one of us help to rebuild our Indian economy? Yes. If we all become desi, it is possible. This has become the most discussed topic in the recent times after our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi urged us to buy and support local products. In his speech, he also gave a slogan, "Be vocal for the local," which means to support local products. You can ask why can't the government itself ban imports? It is not possible for any government because the world has shrunk to a global village. Each country will be relying on other for one thing or the other. Moreover, banning a country's imports will result in banning its export too. So, dear all, we should take ourselves initiative to go local. Let us all start buying our locally made products. Buy tender coconut, buttermilks, groundnut cake, sesame balls, etc., which are healthy, nutritious and immune boosters. Instead of buying aerated, artificially sweetened Coca-Cola, Pepsi, chocolates, etc. Buy local made soaps, cosmetics instead of foreign brands. Do you know the Royal Enfield Bullet, which comes majestically on our roads, is an Indian brand? Buy our Indian made automobiles like TVS, Tata, Mahindra, etc. Finally, I want to emphasize that if we all start buying locally made commodities in all walks of life, the imports of the foreign goods will drastically reduce and definitely our economy will improve, and we will also be one of the richest self-reliant countries in the world sooner. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Now, it's my privilege to welcome Shri Vikas Arya Sir, the Secretary of DAV Group of Schools, to address the distinguished gathering.
respected members of the management, principals, teachers, parents, and my dear students. Namaste to one and all. Every Independence Day reminds us of a defining moment in India's history. The unfathomable mistakes we made, due to which we endured almost 900 years of subjugation, initially by the Mughals, followed by the British, and how we finally became independent. Today, inspired by the modern thinker, Mr. Rajiv Malhotra, I wish to highlight the one burning question that confronts all of us even 74 years after our independence. And what's that question? The question is, what is India's grand narrative? The narrative of a nation is the overall story of its people, who they are, where they came from, what their thoughts are, what their philosophy and way of life is, what makes them one people, what was their past story, and what is their future trajectory, what were their contributions to the world, and so on. In the United States, a child is proactively taught about the founding fathers and the greatness of America. In fact, the term American exceptionalism is commonly used to refer to the American grand narrative. It is an important part of the conscious and unconscious collective psyche of most Americans. China is also a very interesting case. It has modernized without really westernizing. Confucius was their most celebrated thinker, and China decided that they are going to adopt Confucian modernity. Though there are over 300 languages spoken in China, they moved to one Mandarin. They had a massive program to define and propagate their grand narrative as an ancient civilization that is rapidly becoming the world's greatest country once again. Remember, the Chinese were also colonized by the British, but they simply treat the period of subjugation as a black period. The British also pride themselves as the ones who pioneered the development of modern democracy and created the Industrial Revolution. Even while the horrors of their colonial empire played out in the colonies, they spun the narrative that colonization was a great gift to civilized backward people with the rule of law. They project Shakespeare as the greatest writer who profoundly influenced literary discourse around the world. While various powerful countries build their own narrative with their citizens proud of their heritage, we in India remain fairly confused. We just do not know where to anchor ourselves. In this context, there are three key aspects of India's existing narrative which definitely need to be revamped. Firstly, is the generic nature of the Indian society. Media, including films, be it documentaries, Bollywood, or other regional film industries, most of which are controlled by Hawala money from the Middle East. They depict India as maybe land of snake charmers, superstitious beliefs, sadhus, babas, poverty, filth on the roads, stray cows wandering and eating garbage from the streets, etc., etc. India is displayed as a land where women have been subjugated, people have been discriminated and oppressed based on caste. Yes, there have been certain deficiencies, some of which were further exploited by the British and the Mughals. We have been amending them, and we should be doing so. But to paint the entire society with the same brush is a colossal mistake, while overlooking the dark history of exploitation, slavery, and racism, black versus white, in many other different parts of the world. The second pertinent false narrative is that we gained independence primarily due to ahimsa or the non-violence policy followed by Gandhiji. We as a society were indeed lulled into believing that just keep sacrificing without any armed struggle and you'll be able to win over the British. My dear children, we indeed would have been able to gain independence much earlier if we had engaged militarily with the British in a more strategic way. It is a matter of shame for us that rather than freeing India of the clutches of the British, 13 lakh Indians, I repeat, 13 lakh Indians fought for the British during the World War I, of which 74,000 of them were killed. Once again, World War II, 1942, 25 lakh Indians went to war for the British, of which 87,000 of them were killed. This gross misinterpretation of the ahimsa concept taught in our textbooks, in our schools, has led to a complete lack of military culture in the country. We were humiliated by the Chinese in 1962, and even today, we are not the best prepared to take on the Chinese. We hardly teach any military history to our children and have not meaningfully invested in defense. While it was good that we finally got the Rafale aircrafts from France, somewhere deep within, the celebratory mood in the country was rather embarrassing. We as a nation could not indigenously develop the same technology. I am glad that finally India is taking some concrete steps in this direction to become self-reliant in the defense space. The third false narrative I wish to highlight is the Aryan invasion theory. Not only did the Europeans falsely try to claim ownership of the rich Sanskrit literature that clearly belonged to the Indian subcontinent, but also they created a Dravidian divide amongst the people of the country. Till today, we keep falling prey to it, exploited by political parties for their petty gains. So then, the question is, what is India's true grand narrative? My dear children, our civilization is one of the oldest. Over 10,000 years old, when there were none of the modern religions of the world as we see them today. No Christianity, no Islam, no mention of the word Hindu either. It is the Vedic open architecture, which has a long history of nurturing harmony across very diverse ideas, which is the true Indian grand narrative. The concept of dharma, rather than religion, is our narrative. Praying for everyone's welfare, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, is our narrative. Yoga and associated mind science, wherein the ultimate objective of the soul is to achieve moksha, is our narrative. Sanskrit literature, which has deep, insightful mantras and shlokas, is part of our grand narrative. Ayurveda is our narrative. Love for animals, respect for elders, joint families is our narrative. Cow, whom we reverentially call the Gaumata, is part of our narrative. Mahabharata and Ramayana, my dear children, are part of our grand narrative. Mahabharata and Ramayana contain an exhaustive set of situations about family, society, state, and conflicts. For each of those dimensions, it provides multiple perspectives of dharma through powerfully portrayed characters. It summarizes about the origin of India, its people, society, politics, ethics, and philosophical systems. It is in this context, the building of the Ram temple is a great step, not because all our sins will be washed away or we will attain moksha only by praying at the to-be-constructed temple, but because it is an integral part of India's grand narrative. My dear children, I am not sure how many of you know that when the Constitution of India was being written in 1947, 48 after independence, a debate happened in the Indian Parliament on whether the constitution should be just a book or should also reflect India's rich heritage. Our parliamentarians at that point of time decided that no, constitution also needs to reflect the heritage of this great civilization. They then commissioned the works of a famous artist from Bengal called Mr. Nandalal Bose. And you'll be pleasantly surprised to note that very interestingly and aptly, on the first page of the Indian Constitution, which dwells upon citizenship, was depicted an artwork on the Vedic life in India, the Gurukula system of India. The next 2 pages have illustration from Ramayana, with Sri Rama coming home to Ayodhya and Sri Krishna giving Updesh from the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, my dear children, it is extremely important that we chart our own grand narrative based on genuine pride and respect. Compared to an average American, Chinese, or a British child of your age, you have a much larger ground to cover, a responsibility to fulfill, to ensure that you build a society that is self-confident and self-respecting without being arrogant. It is strength, physical, economical, spiritual, which builds a strong nation. And this is indeed the most effective way to prevent war and practice ahimsa in its true sense. Before I conclude, I'm reminded of a few lines by the poet Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the former Prime Minister of India. He said, "Who listens as I sob over my broken dreams? टूटे हुए सपनों की कौन सुने सिसकी? I silently weep, soaked in my internal pain. अंतर की चीर व्यथा पलकों पर ठिठकी. But I will not accept defeat. हार नहीं मानूंगा. I will neither create enemies. रार नहीं ठानूंगा. I will both write and erase on my time-based grand narrative. काल के कपाल पे लिखता मिटाता हूँ. I sing a new song today. गीत नया गाता हूँ. गीत नया गाता हूँ. Putting these lines together once again. टूटे हुए सपनों की कौन सुने सिसकी? अंतर की चीर व्यथा पलकों पर ठिठकी. हार नहीं मानूंगा. रार नहीं ठानूंगा. काल के कपाल पे लिखता मिटाता हूँ. गीत नया गाता हूँ. गीत नया गाता हूँ. वंदे मातरम. नमस्ते.
Isn't it time to feast your eyes? Yes. I now call upon Madhumita of class 12 and Jivtesh of class 8 to sing National Tamil Flag song. This was an incredible performance by the students. Now moving forward to the next performance, it's English talk on the Martyrs of Galvin by Swati Sri of class 11. Thank you dear, you helped us hark back the history. Now hold your breath for a dance performance by our girls Miss Jeevita of class 10A and Miss Varnika of class 10C. It was absolutely a stunning performance, dear girls. We will always remember them for their mesmerizing performance. Now we have our student Miss Aishwarya R of class 9A to deliver her talk in Tamil. Thank you for manifesting your valuable thoughts, dear. Next will be our team of girls to sing a flaunting trilingual patriotic song. And the singers are Sivapriyam of class 7, Sivakamalam of class 8 and Jeevana of class 10. Hasn't it been a scintillating performance by our girls? Thank you dears. Moving on to our next program, I would like to call upon Miss Raina G. George of class 9C to deliver a speech on contribution of youth and Arya Samaj in India's independence. Thank you for infusing such a wonderful thoughts in
Namaste to one and all present here. A very happy Independence Day to all teachers and my dear friends. It's my pleasure to speak a few words about the martyrs of Galwan today. How painful it is to leave your home and fight at 20,000 feet in sub-zero temperatures. How hard it is to be on foot all the time wearing the combat uniform. A chivalric person hailing from Ramanathapuram took to 22 years of toil in the Indian Army. Aspiration and perseverance helped him brave extreme climatic conditions and master field acumen. Besides, there was just a year ahead for his retirement, but time awaited for him at the steeps of Galwan for his valor, wherein he lost his life while defending the country. His family was shaken with grief due to his untimely demise. He is none other than Havildar K. Parani from Ramanathapuram. He might have been poor himself, but he's one of the most precious gems of our country whom we couldn't afford to lose. It's not just him, but also Colonel Santosh Babu, Havildar Sunil Kumar, and 17 other Jawans who breathed their last with utmost bravery in the Galwan Valley. Some goals are so worthy that it's glorious even to fail, and the martyrs of Galwan are no less than icons of bravery. China has made efforts to occupy multiple locations along the Sino-Indian border. On 21st May, they entered the Galwan Valley and reinforced it with arms. On 15th June, there was a severe clash between the troops. Soldiers had to abide by the agreement that prevented the use of firearms. But the Chinese troops possessed iron rods and clubs. The most heart-wrenching fact of all is that our Jawans were attacked by batons wrapped with barbed wire and nailed wooden logs. This deadly fight lasted for 6 hours in near total darkness. That darkness that had put 20 of our Jawans in eternal silence. A true soldier fights not because he hates what's in front of him. It's because he loves what's behind him, his motherland. Even when the entire nation succumbs to slumber, our Jawans defend the borders. For a Jawan, there is neither festivity nor celebration. Even a pandemic like COVID cannot undermine his strength. They are the guards and the gods of our peace. As Nelson Mandela rightly said, courage is not the absence of fear, it is the triumph over it. So, on this Independence Day, I would like to thank all the warriors in the defense forces for giving us the India today. Let's salute our Jawans. Jai Hind. Thank you.
நாம் ஒன்று தேசம் ஒன்று என்று கூறுவோம், ஒற்றுமையை காத்து நின்று கைகள் சேருவோம். நாம் ஒன்று தேசம் ஒன்று என்று கூறுவோம், ஒற்றுமையை காத்து நின்று கைகள் சேருவோம். வேற்றுமையில் ஒன்றுபட்டு சகோதரத்துவமும் கொண்டு வேற்றுமையில் ஒன்றுபட்டு சகோதரத்துவமும் கொண்டு இன்பமாக வாழ்வோம். சேர்ந்து சொல்லுவோம், சேர்ந்து சொல்லுவோம். வந்தே மாதரம், வந்தே மாதரம், வந்தே மாதரம், வந்தே மாதரம். கமாம மக கம கக மக மாம மக கம கக மமாத தத மமத மமத மாத தத மமத மமத தசரி கரி சசா மத சரி சதத கமத சமகக சரி கரி சதசா சரி கரி சதசா.
Unity in diversity, strength of our country. Let's join our hands together to live in peacefully. Unity in diversity. अपना देश अपनी माँ है सबको बता दो, इस प्यारे देश में जीना अपना गर्व है। अपना देश अपनी माँ है सबको बता दो, इस प्यारे देश में जीना अपना गर्व है। भेदभाव छोड़ कर सबसे हाथ मिलाकर, भेदभाव छोड़ कर सबसे हाथ मिलाकर अपनी माँ को विकसित करना अपना फर्ज है, अपना फर्ज है। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम। ग मा म म ग ग म ग ग म ग मा म म ग ग म ग ग म म द द द म म द म म द द द द म म द म म द द स रि ग रि स सा म द स रि स द द ग म द स म ग ग स रि ग रि स द सा स रि ग रि स द सा।
நாம் ஒன்று தேசம் ஒன்று என்று கூறுவோம், ஒற்றுமையை காத்து நின்று கைகள் சேருவோம்। Strengthening our integrity, helping rise the economy, अपने माँ को विकसित करना अपना फर्ज है, अपना फर्ज है। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
नमस्ते आदरणीय प्रधानाचार्य जी, अध्यापकगण तथा मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, आप सभी को मेरी ओर से स्वतंत्रता दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। आज मैं आपको एक ऐसे विषय पर बताने जा रही हूं जो आज़ादी के 70 वर्षों से सबसे ज़्यादा उपेक्षित रहा है। आज के भारत के युवाओं को यह भी पता नहीं कि स्वतंत्रता किन की बदौलत मिली है और इसमें सबसे बड़ा योगदान किनका था। उन्हें हमेशा जिक्र किया जाता था। किसी कवि ने सही ही कहा था कि उनकी तुरबत पर नहीं एक भी दिया, जिनके खून से जला करते थे चिराग ए वतन। आज जगमगा रहे हैं मकबरे उनके, जो बेचा करते थे शहीदों के कफन। प्यारे साथियों, ऐसा कैसे हो गया कि जिन्होंने सर्वस्व न्यौछावर कर दिया, उनके बारे में बच्चों को पढ़ाया ही नहीं गया। आखिर हमारी युवा पीढ़ी को इतनी बड़ी वास्तविकता से कैसे दूर रखा गया। 7,32,000 क्रांतिकारियों के बलिदान से यह आज़ादी मिली है, परंतु आज समय आ गया है उन महापुरुषों की याद कर उन्हें सम्मान दिलाने का। देश प्रेमी युवाओं, हजारों वर्षों से सोई हुई मानव जाति जो घोर निराशा के जंजीरे में ऐसी जकड़ी थी कि उन्हें जागने की संभावना ही नहीं दिखाई पड़ी, और ऐसे समय में एक ऐसा महामानव आया जिन्होंने सोई हुई मानव जाति को ऐसे जगाया कि उन्होंने अपने देश को स्वतंत्रता मिलाने के लिए तैयार किया। बंधुओं, वह कोई और नहीं, वे आर्य समाज के संस्थापक महर्षि दयानंद सरस्वती थे। किसी ने कहा था, दयानंद ने अगर गर जगाई न होती तो बेदार हदगिज खुदाई न होती। निशा तो रामकृष्ण का तो मिट चुका था, ऋषि ने जो हलचल मचाई न होती। सुनने को न मिलते वतन के तराने, अगर देशभक्ति सिखाई न होती, अगर देशभक्ति सिखाई न होती। धन्यवाद।
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் 74 சுதந்திர தின வாழ்த்துக்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்வதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. இதுவரை நாம் கொண்டாடிய சுதந்திர தினத்திற்கும் இவ்வாண்டு நாம் கொண்டாடிய சுதந்திர தினத்திற்கும் மிகப்பெரிய வேறுபாடு உண்டு. மூவர்ண கொடியை கையிலும் நெஞ்சிலும் ஏந்தி ஒருவருக்கொருவர் நேரில் வாழ்த்து சொல்லி கொண்டாடினோம் அன்று. இன்றோ கொரோனா வைரஸின் கோர தாண்டவத்திற்கு இடையில் கொண்டாடி கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். பகைவரை கண் அஞ்சிருந்த காலம் போய் இப்போது நண்பர்களுக்கு இடையிலேயே இடைவெளியை கடைபிடித்து வருகிறோம். இந்த உலகம் இதுவரை காணாத அனுபவம் இது. முற்றிலும் வீட்டில் முடங்கியிருந்த நாம் இப்போதுதான் மெல்ல மெல்ல வெளியில் நடமாட தொடங்கி இருக்கிறோம். முகக்கவசம் என்பது நம் உடல் உறுப்புகளில் ஒன்றாகிவிட்டது. நாம் தினமும் கற்றுக்கடித்திருந்த பள்ளிக்கூடம் இப்போது எட்டாக்கனியாய் இருக்கிறது. நண்பர்களே, இத்தனை துன்பங்களுக்கு இடையிலும் நமக்கு இருக்கும் ஒரே ஆறுதல் இணைய வழி கல்வி மட்டுமே. வகுப்புகள் தடையின்றி நடக்கின்றன. கண்களாலே கைக்குலுக்கி மகிழ்கிறோம். வீடே உலகமாகிவிட்டது. அம்மாவின் அழகை, அப்பாவின் அன்பை, உடன் பிறந்தோரின் பாசத்தை கண்டும் அனுபவித்தும் மகிழ்கிறோம். இந்த மனித குலம் எத்தனையோ பாடங்களை கற்றிருக்கிறது. இது புதிய பாடம். ஓசோன் ஓட்டை அடைக்கப்பட்டு விட்டது. காற்று மாசு குறைந்து விட்டது. ஆடி மாதத்திலும் இப்போது மழை பொழிகிறது. அன்பானவர்களே, இன்னும் சில மாதங்கள் தடுப்பூசி மருந்து நம் இரத்தத்தில் கலந்துவிடும். கொரோனா வைரஸோடு கை குலுக்கி அதை நாம் விரட்டி அடிக்கலாம். இறந்த சொர்க்கமான நம் பள்ளிக்கூடத்தில் கூடி மகிழலாம். அடுத்த ஆண்டு சுதந்திர தின விழாவை நம் பள்ளியில் கொண்டாடலாம். நம்பிக்கை தானே வாழ்க்கை. நல்லதே நடக்கும் என்று கூறி உங்களுக்கு மீண்டும் சுதந்திர தின வாழ்த்துக்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்வதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. வாழ்க பாரதம், வெல்க பாரதம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
We owe a great thank you to our freedom fighters who gave their life and made great sacrifices. That is why we are here together to celebrate this Nation's Day. But let us not also forget to thank the other unsung heroes on this pandemic situation. The doctors, health workers, sanitary workers and our government officials who are always 24/7 are ready to cater our needs and shield us from this deadly virus. Talking about gratitude, it is not only the greatest of virtues but the parent of all others. I would like to extend my thanks to all the efforts of our principal sir, our headmistress madam, my fellow teachers, my dear students, our respected parents and the other guests for making this day a great success. I once again thank you all for your places. How? Now let us together take a pledge to protect the peace and unity of our great nation. Hereupon I call Miss A.N. Lakshana of class 7B, M.S. Vishwa of class 7D, A. Yogesh of class 7B, Sharan Mathu of class 7A, Sharlene of class 5, V. Niraimadi of class 5F, A. Roshini of class 5F. Thank you, dears.
My country, India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. I love my country. I love my country. And I am proud of it. Proud of it. Rich and very heritage. Rich and very heritage. I shall always try to be worthy of it. Worthy of it. I shall give my parents. I shall give my parents. Teachers. And all elders. Respect, treat everyone with courtesy. To my country. And my people. I bless my ocean. And there will be prosperity alone. Life my happiness. Order.
All is well, then the end is well too. And now, will everyone please rise for the national anthem, and I call upon Kirti of class 7 and Samyukta of class 5 to sing our national anthem. Thank you, girls. I wish all to extend your helping hands in recovering from this pandemic situation too. Jai Hind.
Jana